Hello, welcome to the Birch and Lily Knits podcast. My name is Amanda and I am your host. You can find me on Instagram as birch.and.lily and on Ravelry as birchandlily. Today is February 4th and it's a little bit dreary out today, so hopefully that doesn't affect the lighting too much. I've got a little bit of a weird cast on the side of my face today, but hopefully that doesn't stick around for too long. So I just wanted to say a big hello to any new viewers. Thank you for checking me out, and as well a big thank you to any returning viewers. It really means a lot. So this is a podcast mostly about knitting, and I do have a little bit of cross stitch to show you guys at the end of the day today, so hopefully you enjoy. So we'll jump first into one finished object. I did show this last week, but I got it blocked. It wasn't blocked last week, and it is a new pattern that I've written. So I did want to show it to you guys because it is on sale until this Friday, February 8th, for 20% off, no coupon code needed. So I will grab those really quick. I'll pop one on a blocker for you guys really quick, just so you can see it a little bit better. So these are the Shining Water socks. They released this past Friday, February 1st. So here they are, and I have the second one down here. So they are cabled and they have a little bit of lace right here. Slip stitch heel. They come in 3 sizes, small, medium, large, and it's optional to do the contrasting toe and heel, of course. I'll show you the front here. So they've got 2 cables running down here and then a zigzag cable down the middle. It is a 2x2 rib, but it's a little bit modified just so it lined up with the pattern properly. But that's all written in the pattern. You don't have to guess or anything. Easy to figure out. So yeah, this pattern is a new release of mine. You can find it on Ravelry by going to my Ravelry page, or if you search Birch and Lily Designs. So let's move on to works in progress. First one I have is my Galiano Socks by Tracie Millar. Grab those really quick. So these socks are in a bag by Knit 2 Together. I did show it last week using the same bag. I got this as, it was a collaboration between Long Dog Yarn and Knit 2 Together. So I've just worked on these a little bit, not tons since last time. So I did get to the heel flap. I have not done very much on the heel flap, but I did finish the whole leg, so that's pretty exciting. Got a little progress keeper on here from the corner of Craft Hannah. It's hand beaded. It's the sweetest little thing, and it's so light, so it doesn't add any extra weight or make the stitches tug or anything, which is super nice. So these socks are in a Woolberry Fiber Co. Gilmore Girls sock set. It's called Dean You Idiot. So this is the main color here. It's like a pale baby blue with speckles of purple and green and a little bit of yellow in there, some blue, super pretty. And then the contrasting color is this beautiful green. But it's working really nice with the pattern because the speckles are subtle enough that it doesn't take away from what's going on. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about those. I'm using a 2.25 millimeter needle. That's a US 1. I cast on 64 stitches. I find anything patterned, I like to have 64 stitches just because it gives me a little bit more room, just because cables and stuff like this can make the sock a little bit tight. So yeah, those are my Galiano socks. Okay, so next we will move on to my Desert Vista Dyeworks monthly knit along socks. I think that's what it's called, something like that. Anyways, I started these on February 1st. The way this knit along works is that every month of the year you're supposed to knit a pair of socks out of her yarn. And then if you make it all the way to the end of the year, there's big prizes, and it's super fun. I like having at least one vanilla sock on my needles all the time just for when we're traveling, so this is an easy way to do it. It makes the picking of yarn a little bit easier too. So I have these guys in this bag here. This is from Tiny Human Knits. And then this pin here is actually from Disneyland. I got that when we went this summer. And it matches perfect with the bag. It's a little up house. So yeah, I really like these bags. They're really, really good quality and the perfect size for socks. They're not too small. So these are the socks. This yarn is, what is this yarn? Zombody's Late by Vista Dyeworks, of course. I cast on 60 stitches for these, 2x2 rib, 2.25 millimeter needles, so a US 1. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the heel in. I find usually with my first sock, when I'm doing an afterthought heel, I'll just knit for a while and then put the heel in before I'm finished the sock. Just because I have a hard time getting the socks to the right length if I've finished a whole tube with a toe and everything and then cut in. Then I can try it on and figure out the right place to put in the toe, and then on the second sock I'll do the whole tube before I put in the heel on it. But this yarn is super pretty. I've never seen something self-striping with so many speckles. So there's 3 different speckled stripes in there. Yeah, I'm really enjoying these. I knit all of this up in basically a couple days. Vanilla socks go really fast for me. I'll just watch TV and knit on them without looking, and yeah, great way to keep my hands busy. And then I should mention the afterthought heel that I use. I think it's the one that everyone uses on their socks, but it's the one by Kirby Werby on YouTube. It's fantastic. It's a nice long video. It's got all the information you need, and it was the perfect way for me to do my first afterthought heel. So I will try and remember to link that down below. And I don't know if I remember to mention at the beginning there, it was in my notes, but I think I forgot that anything I talk about will be linked down in the show notes down below down there. So yeah, if I miss anything though, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to let you know. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling, guys. I've got a little bit of a cold, so hopefully it's not too bad. So I did show you guys this last week, and I was hoping I would be done this week, but I ran out of yarn. So I'm not quite sure what happened with that. I was on gauge, but it must have changed at some point, and I ran out. So I'm waiting for Jensen to send me a little bit more of the yarn. I'm about to run out of 2 colors. So yeah, I'm waiting for that in the mail. So this is on a little bit of a break right now, but I'm so close to being done. I have 3 repeats left before I finish it. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this up soon and get it blocking. I got blocking mats and blocking wires for Christmas, so I'm pretty excited. This would be the first project that I get to use those to block, so I'm really looking forward to that. But the bag that I have these in, I did figure it out. Last week I couldn't remember where it was from, and I have to look at my notes here because I still don't have it in my head. So this bag is from Yarn, Coffee, and Crochet. It is awesome. It is super, super tough. I don't know what kind of fabric this would be, but it's very, very sturdy. I've got all my pins on it. Yeah, I really like it. Not much else I can say. So I'll show you guys here what I have done now. And I forgot to put a progress keeper on here last week to show where I was last time, but if you've watched the previous episode, I'm sure you have a little bit of an idea where I was. So which side here is this? Is the front. So I have started moving the spine, so it's off center now, and I basically just have these little stitches here to get rid of, to decrease until I'm done. So like I said, I am so close to being done. Maybe I'll stand up just to give you guys a little bit of a better view. So yeah, this is my Plumpy Shawl. It is knit out of Sugarplum Circus yarn. This is a sock set a shawl set that she has made up for the Plumpy Shawl. It's sport weight yarn. The colors are, this one is Flirt, I believe. Sweet Cheeks is the pink, and the brown that you can see right there in the middle is Twig. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this. I haven't knit up a shawl so quickly in quite a long time. I have another one on the needles right now, the Bobble Shawl, also by Andrea Mowry, and it's been sitting in hiatus for quite a while. I just haven't been feeling like knitting on it, but this has kind of made me want to, so hopefully after I finish this I will pull that out and get it finished up. I think I only have a couple repeats, couple different sections left on the Bobble Shawl, but not too much. So yeah, I do want to get that finished and hopefully wear it before it gets too warm out, because it snowed like crazy. We got that polar vortex out here in Michigan, and it snowed like crazy the one day. I swear we got 6 or 8 inches of snow, and I looked outside today and it's all gone. So I don't know, I'm not used to the Michigan weather. This is the first year that my husband and I have lived here, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Some people have told us this isn't normal at all, so we'll see. Hopefully I get some time to wear some shawls. I haven't pulled them out much lately because other than that really cold week, it's been pretty warm and I haven't wanted to wear them. So we'll see. Hopefully I get some use out of them. I do enjoy knitting them, so I don't want them to just sit in a bin. But yeah, that is my Plumpy Shawl. I am using a 3.5 millimeter on it. I think that's a US 4. I should have used the 3.25. That probably would have helped me with the running out of yarn. But when I gauge swatched, a 3.5 was working, so I really don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, there we go. That's my Plumpy Shawl. So next, I will show you guys my Coast Range socks. This is a test knit that I'm doing for Lindsey Fowler of Lost and Fond. I'm really enjoying it. It's a beautiful sock, super cushy. It might help that I'm knitting these up in 100% merino yarn. I'm hoping they hold up well. I've never knit a pair of socks in 100% merino. Usually they have a little bit of nylon in them, but I just couldn't pass up this colorway with the pattern. I just knew that they would mesh and look beautiful together. So I am using, this is a Woolberry Fiber Co. yarn, like I said, on her 100% merino, I think it's called Berry Merino base, in A World of Octobers. This was a club colorway, it was an Anne of Green Gables club colorway a couple months ago, but I feel like she brought it back as a regular. So keep your eyes out, I guess. I don't know. She's kind of going more towards springy colors now. I know she has her Valentine's Day collection out, so I'm not 100% sure if she has it in the shop anymore or if she ever did after the club, but yeah. So the bag that these socks are in is by Birch Grove. I love these little bags for keeping in my purse. They're really tiny, but you really can only fit one skein of yarn in here. Anything more than that, and it's definitely a little too smushed, and it doesn't want to fit in my purse then. But yeah, I've been talking about these socks a whole bunch, but I haven't showed them to you. So these are my Coast Range socks. I do have one sock finished right here. So I'm working on the second. I've got a little bit of work onto it, but not tons, just because I've been busy with that shawl sample knit, and then I also have a pair of socks that I'm sample knitting for Jensen as well. So those have kind of taken up all of my time right now. But I do want to get back to these and get these finished because I'm really excited to wear them. So I will pop the finished sock on my blocker for you guys really quick. I did show it last week, but just in case you missed that episode, I will show it again. Okay, so these are the Coast Range socks. So it's got some really pretty lace running all across the front of the sock, and then I don't know if you can see here the little cable panel that runs all the way down the back onto the heel flap. And the whole heel, or the whole back of the heel, is a slip stitch pattern that runs into the heel flap as well, which is really cool. Makes it super cushy and super nice. And I think, like I said, the 100% merino yarn is helping with that a little bit too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to having these done. I think she's releasing the pattern on February 22nd. I think that's her plan. So keep your eye out for that. Like I said, she's Lost and Fond on Instagram. I'm knitting these up on 2.25 millimeter needles, US 1. I think literally every pair of socks I've knit have always been on that. So if I forget to say it, it's probably on a 2.25 millimeter needle. I did 60 stitches for these socks, and yeah, I think that's about it. So I have 2 more pairs of socks on the needles right now, so I will grab one of those for you guys real quick. Okay, so this pair, sorry if you hear a little bit of crinkling, there's a plastic bag in here, but this pair of socks are also in another Birch Grove bag. These are another, here, we'll get the bag out of here so it stops crinkling. These are another pair of vanilla socks. Now I'm knitting these up on Hiya Sharps instead of my normal Chiaogu needles. I do not like the Hiya Sharps. I like the needle tip. I hate the cord. It is terrible. We'll just get that out there right now. But these are knit in Tiny Human Knits yarn. It's her Cherry Mousse colorway on her sparkle base. So I think it's 70% merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. Get this awful cord out of the way, but this is them. So I don't know if you can notice here. It's more noticeable on this side, but I was working on these around Christmas. When I flew home, I worked on them on the plane, and then they didn't get much attention at all until last week, I think, or the week before. And they have, I don't know if you can see this here, that's where the needles were sitting before, and it's dented all of the stitches. I didn't realize that would happen, but I've never had a pair of socks sit on the needles for that long without being touched, so I guess when you leave them on too long, it dents the stitches. But I will be blocking these, of course, when they're finished, so that should get rid of that. But I'm knitting these up on 2.25 millimeter needles, 60 stitches, I think, as well, 2x2 rib. Basically what I usually do. I'm not sure if I want to do an afterthought heel on these or like a fish lips kiss heel. I've never tried a what's the word I'm looking for? A heel flap and gusset on a pair of striping socks before. If you've done that before, let me know how it goes. I'm worried that it'll interrupt the stripes a little bit too much, but yeah, if you've done it before and it's turned out well, let me know in the comments, because those are definitely the type of heel that fit me the best. So I do like having a heel flap and gusset on my socks, but I've always been worried about it mucking up the striping pattern, and I am one of those people who has to have my stripes matching, so I don't want that to mess up my stripes too much. So yeah, simple vanilla sock, nothing else I can really say about those. So we'll move on to my last pair. And I do have one finished sock here, so I guess this is technically a half object. I forgot to do a half object section this time, but whatever. So we'll pop the one sock here on a blocker. So these I've knit a little bit bigger than I normally would for myself, because these are a sample knit for Jensen of Sugarplum Circus. She started making sock sets and she wanted one of my patterns knit up in one of her sock sets. So these, I will take these off after, just because the pattern is mostly on the front and it's kind of hard to see it on the sock blocker, but this will show off the yarn at least really nicely. So these are the Ingleside socks. I released this pattern in November, maybe? October, November, somewhere in there. But it's got seed stitch running along each side of the cable in the middle, and then it has some cables running down the back as well. So that's the front there. It's got a braid cable running down the middle. It's surrounded by seed stitch, and then the back ends are sticking out. The back just has two tiny little cables running down. Slip stitch heel, rounded toe, 2x2 rib. So yeah, I have the first sock done, and I don't have the second one in a bag because I got a yarn bowl for Christmas and I've been using that a lot, and I have a tangled disaster here, so give me a second. So I'll tuck in my ends here. Yeah, there's just going to be a lot of ends. I'm working on the heel flap. Well, I just finished it actually, but what can you do? So this is the second sock. That's how far I've got. So I did 6 repeats on the leg here, still got the pattern down the back. And I just finished the heel turn on my heel flap. Yeah, so I don't have tons left to do. I'm hoping to get these done by the end of the week so that I can work on some new designs that I have in my mind and written down. But I will show you guys the yarn bowl that I got for Christmas from my husband. I think he just got this from Knit Picks, but it has been wonderful. He said he got it because he always saw my yarn flopping onto the floor and rolling away from me, and this has definitely solved the problem. It's been wonderful. But I do have to say, Jensen's cakes of yarn are massive. Like, I finished one whole sock and I still have tons left. I haven't weighed this, but it doesn't feel like it's shrunk that much to me. It probably has, but it really doesn't feel like it has. So yeah, that is my pair of Ingleside socks. Like I said, that is one of my patterns. It's in my Ravelry store. You can grab it whenever you want. I'll remember to link it down below for you guys. So yeah, that's all I have for knitting today. So if that's what you came here for, I'm done. Thanks for watching, I guess. But I do have one cross-stitch thing to show you guys. I started cross-stitching in August, September-ish, and then I hadn't picked it back up for a while. But then I found the world of Floss Tube, which is basically like our knitting podcast, but it's for cross-stitch, and that sucked me back in. So I do have one project that I'm working on that I would like to show you guys. Okay, so this is in a plastic bag. I'm sorry if it crinkles. I don't really know how else to store cross stitch. I guess they probably have project bags for it, but I don't have any. So I am working on, it is called Snowflakes by Little House Needleworks. So there it is right there. I just got this in the mail on Saturday, so I haven't been working on it for too long, but I've kind of been doing it in the evenings when my wrists are kind of sore from all of the knitting. So this is, I can't see, this is what I've got done so far. So this is my first time stitching on linen. I stitch in hand, so that's why it's kind of wrinkled there, just for me grabbing at it. But I've really been enjoying it. I like how the stitches look on it a lot more than Ada, because that was what I was stitching on before, just because that was what Joanne's had. But yeah, the stitches, they definitely cover the fabric a lot better on here, so I really like that, because I didn't like when the white was showing through the fabric, the Ada. And yeah, it's been really good. I thought it would be hard to see the holes on the linen, especially since I'm knitting on a 32 count, and when I was knitting on Ada, I think I was doing an 18, so that's a decent difference of size in holes for sure. But this is also, let me grab them here, my first intro into fancy floss, as Priscilla and Chelsea would say on their floss tube. They are the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. If you haven't seen them before, oh my goodness, they are wonderful. They work so fast. I don't know how they get all of the stuff done that they do in a week, but they do a weekly floss tube on YouTube. I will try and remember to link them down below. But this is my first intro to fancy floss. So this is the best way I can describe it. It's like indie dyed yarn, but it's embroidery floss. So yeah, I've really been enjoying it. It's definitely got that variegation that hand dyed yarn has, which really makes the project pretty. So that's been fun, and yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about my cross stitch. So that brings us to the end of my episode today. It was a little bit shorter than normal, and I had, like I said, no finished objects. I've kind of been monogamously working on those Ingleside socks and the shawl, and just trying to get those done for Jensen so that she can have them for all of her trunk shows that are coming up. And then after that, I will get back into kind of knitting for myself and knitting for new designs, new patterns, things like that. I'm surprised I didn't get more done with that polar vortex that was going on, because we were stuck inside for literally a week. My husband didn't have to go to work. He just worked from home for the week, and we hid inside because it was freezing. I speak in Celsius, not Fahrenheit, but it felt like minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is crazy. I don't think I've ever been in weather that cold. I remember back home in Canada it being minus 30, but I don't remember minus 40, and it was awful. The house couldn't stay warm, but what can you do? It's gone now. Like I said, the snow was melted, which is insane. It was 6 degrees above zero yesterday, so that's been good. It's weird not having snow because, like I said, I'm a Canadian and we have snow until April or May, so who knows? But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I'm not really good at this talking about my life thing at the end. I guess maybe one day I'll do a question and answer, give me a little bit more to talk about. If that would interest you guys, just let me know down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.